more space for more grain. Then she or the person selling it to her would press it down in order to make room for more. So guess what God is saying? When he can use you to do it for somebody else, when they, whoever they are, come back your way, not only do you get the it that you gave, but he creates room for you to get more than you gave up. In other words, it's called investment. When you invest in the lives of others spiritually, in any number of categories of life, and that's what this dynamic of the one another's is in Scripture. It is touching the life of another. Now, I can't minister to everybody, thousands of members at our church. You can't minister to everybody, but everybody can minister to somebody. And if you and your groups get everybody to minister to somebody, everybody gets ministered to, and then they got a group called they. Because if one person ministers to this person, the person who did the ministry has a whole other group there who can come back around to them. And the way it gets pressed down is that if you ministered to one person, but God touches 3 people to come back to you, you got it pressed down, running over, because you got more than you gave up. You gave you, God gave you they. And the good measure, he says, will be the standard. It will be at the level. At the level. Ministry's tough. But people's lives are not going to be changed by the pulpit alone, by Bible studies alone. Those are foundational and those are critical. But when it comes to seeing people's lives changed, it will come because Jesus has taken on hands and feet. Jesus has touched lives through lives. And as we minister to one another, we will find God transforming us. Our goal in the horizontal Jesus is to see God create in our church and in every church groups of people who are so ministry minded that they give it and they get it, because their motivation is not just to get it, their motivation is to give it. A man one day was lost in a desert, and it was extremely hot. He didn't think he was going to make it, and started to get dizzy because of the lack of water. He came upon a shack, and when he walked into the shack, there was a well coming up out of the ground with a jar of water in it. There was a sign above the jar, and it says, "Use this water to prime this pump." Now, this man is thirsty, and he's seeing some water, enough that would hold him for a little while. But the sign said, "Use this water to prime this pump." So he's thinking, he says to himself, "Self, if you drink this water, you're going to have something. It'll hold you up for a little bit. But what happens if you pour it to prime the pump and it doesn't prime? Now you lose everything. Do I believe the sign? Or am I going to limit myself to what I see? Because I see some water right now. Up in here, up in here." He took the chance. He poured the water in and began to prime the pump. And after he pumped a number of times, water bubbled up out of the well. And not only did he have water that was much more than what he lost in the prime, he had water to cover him until he got delivered. There was another sign. It says, "When you have used this water to prime the pump, refill it so that the next person who passes by will have the same opportunity." Luke 6:38 gives you a sign. Give and it will be given to you. You have a choice. I have a choice. Am I only going to get what God gives me, or am I going to be a channel to prime the pump? Am I going to leave something for somebody else? It's not always evident how much water God has got under the ground until you have enough faith to prime the pump. His word is our sign. The question is, are we going to believe it and prime the pump? Or are we just going to get everything we can for us until it runs out and we're done? Horizontal Jesus says, the one another's, that's the way to see lives, including our own, transformed.